first piece consists of improvisation, modal improvisation, technically speaking, followed by one of my own compositions. The name of the composition is Samai Nahawand. Samai is the genre, Nahawand is the mode. I would say that we do improvise quite a bit, and we approach improvisation as an art form, a very important art form. I think improvisation is the road path to discovery and to learning. So we've been thought it would be good to start with that and then get into the composition. The instrument called Buzuk, B-U-Z-U-Q, it's very popular in where I came from. It has many, many frets, and I need all these frets because in this music has microtones. Some of the notes of the scale are not playable on the piano, for example, but they fall somewhere in between. Thank you. The second piece is played on a different instrument, of course, I'm sure. It's familiar. Sorry. Yeah, the second piece played on the oud, very familiar instrument. If sometimes people ask me if it has frets, and they're probably thinking of the European lute, and the answer is we don't have frets. And there's nothing wrong with that, certainly. Not having frets enables us to perform these notes in between very easily. This composition is probably the most common when students start learning this music. It's one piece that you expect them all to know. It's very old, probably some recordings go way back to the early years of the past century. There's some old 78 recordings that I've heard directly and was influenced by that. Of course, the phonograph is very important in many of these villages. When they had them, many musicians learned the repertoire from the 78 RPMs. The name of this piece is Samai Bayati. Thank you. Some instruments carry a certain meaning. The nai, the reed flute, is one of them. It's a type of flute made from reed, and it's associated with certain spirituality. The Sufis love it. They use it so much. Many Sufi sects use the nai as part of their rituals. Certainly the whirling dervishes do that. Jalaluddin Rumi wrote a nice poem about the flute lamenting, or moaning to go back to the reed garden where it came from. Well, the metaphor, of course, has religious meanings, spiritual meanings. I fell in love with the flute. I made my own flutes when I was a kid from reed garden near our house. Then I bought ones, and then I enjoyed playing it, and it's a challenging instrument to play, as many wind instruments are that way. I'd like to just also improvise on the nai. Thank you. Thank you so much. Back to the Buzuk. I'd like to start with short improvisation. I'd like to incorporate the bit of the piece that I composed, actually titled Ecstasy, and I played it with the Kronos Quartet. We recorded it together, and just came to my mind when I came here, and I'd like to just play just the theme of it, and they follow with a famous popular song from Egypt by Sheikh Sayyid Darwish. It's probably composed around 1918, around that time, very early. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I think the last piece, this section of these urban musics, art musics, is one of my compositions. It's titled Sama'i Mahur. When I play my compositions, sometimes I abbreviate them a little bit and I don't make the repeats, or I skip something so that it's just for the sake of time. And this one is, I composed it many years ago. It's, I play it on the oud. Also begin with a short improvisation. Thank you. Now is the time to bring out some folk instruments that I usually don't use in concerts, but I thought maybe might be a good context to bring instruments that we don't hear very much, and instruments that was all fascinating to me, and I heard them being played. One instrument is called rababa. Rababa is probably the most sort of emblematic of the traditional Arabia, with the nomadic tribes, for example, played it. Many countries actually, they traveled with it. Rababa is one string instrument. Bowed instrument has only one string. It's looks like a frame covered with skin from the front on the back. The string is made from horsehair, and the bows also has horsehair. They like it because it sounds very much like singing. It's typically played by the poet-singers, those poets who go, for example, to the madafa or the guest house sometimes and entertain. Typically, when they play the rababa, they sing almost epics, heroic songs, the rababa, or they may sing love songs. Sometimes in the same context, the chief of the tribe would invite people, and they would drink coffee as a very important ritual in that culture. And they grind the coffee in a coffee grinder. It's very heavy, a piece of wood, and the handle that crushes the beans, and you have to put beans in it to make it sound good. Might be an expensive hobby, but you have to use the beans to make it sound good. I didn't bring that because it's so heavy. I've never able to lift it even. Maybe someday we'll ship one ahead of time or something like that. But it's fun playing, and when they play it, has to produce a very nice rhythmic pattern. It's a very beautiful sound, and some people really excel in playing the coffee grinder. It's probably the best smelling instrument, certainly, and it's a symbol of generosity. When you hear it, somebody is of high rank, but sometimes it's just the generosity is very important. It's important, very important virtue in that culture. I'd like to just play a few notes. This is a sort of modern, improved, in a sense that it used plastic instead of skin. And they did some paintings on it. So I bought it a long time ago in Beirut. And The other instruments that are not heard very often is one type of flute that shepherds play on. They probably are trying to find any connection between that flute and the goats. I don't know. The goats, they claim that the goats stop and listen and pay attention. So that's probably very encouraging for the shepherd to catch their attention. I've seen that instrument played. I've seen shepherds play it. It's could be made from reed or cane, or could be just metal, just drill holes and play it. They play it there are two techniques. One technique is played on the lips. It also accompanies the debka, that folk dance that people do at weddings. The other technique on the tooth, between two teeth. Thank you so much. Thank you. There's a flute that resembles the other one, but doesn't sound like that at all. I think it doesn't. It's the Egyptian kawala. The kawala is used in Sufi gatherings. It's also in folk music, certainly in Egypt, the Nile regions. But recently, the urban musicians fell in love with it, and you hear it in many popular songs. It has also a very breathy sound and a very distinctive sound. I recorded on it with orchestra, big orchestras, and really it cuts through as a nice, very interesting timbre because it stands out in some ways. Thank you. I mean, most of these instruments are accompanied by percussion, and the only thing I could do is just play a couple of patterns on a frame drum, just to give an example. Thank you. I think the last item is consists of presenting three related instruments, again, that we don't hear them very much. Instruments that you can classify them as single reed instruments. They're made from cane or reed. I used to pick my cane in Southern California, but unfortunately, I heard on the radio that they're really exterminating the weed. So it was sad that I not being able to catch and make some reeds from it. But anyway, the reed is a very common, very useful plant, I would say. This is a instrument called, in Turkey they call it sipsi, and in Turkey it's a single stem and a single reed on top, and when you play it you have to practice circular breathing. Circular breathing is very important for these instruments in particular, which circular breathing enables you to hold the tone almost forever, and what you do is use your cheeks as the storage of the air. When you run out of here in your lungs, the muscles push quickly to continue the sound when you inhale through your nose. Sounds a bit complicated, but if you do it, sometimes it becomes just intuitive. I'll play something on this. Now, related instrument also single reed, but a double tubes and double reeds in here. This is called mishwiz. The reeds are very delicate, and sometimes you don't know why they're not behaving. So I'll give it a try. See what we can do. We're getting there. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good audience. Thank you.